So still on parenting teenagers, and this is a message for teenagers who find themselves in homes where their parents fight constantly, argue, they're on each other's case every single day. It's just one argument after another, either the same ones that are being repeated or new ones, and they happen in front of you, yeah? And you never see your parents making up. So they wake up, they go to sleep at night having fought, they wake up in the morning, they say hi to each other, there's really no emotional exchange that goes on between them, and then they come back in the evening and you see them again. And what I've seen in a couple of teenagers is, particularly for girls, so when the mom and dad are fighting, the mom might start disclosing the reasons for their fights to the daughter, and then the daughter now sympathizes with the mother and then takes the mother's side, so now starts resenting the dad. And then a few days later, the dad gives his account of the story, and then the daughter is now forced to empathize with the dad and then start hating the mom. So you keep bouncing your teenager from one side to another, and I don't think that's fair, because already they're grappling with their own challenges that are overwhelming them. They're going through changes biologically, they're going through changes physically, they're going through changes psychologically, emotionally, academically, and now you're adding on top of it your own marital issues on them. And sometimes you even use your teenager to pass messages from one parent to another, and I still think that's very unfair. So these children, when they're not able, when they feel deprived of the love, the emotions, the security that they're supposed to have gotten from you as a parent, they go out and seek it from other people. And normally they would do that because in this particular age, they're looking at identity and they're starting to have feelings, sexual feelings. So they will start to lean into that and they would look for a boyfriend. And I've seen a particular case where a young girl, 16 years old, has started a relationship with a boy whom he suspects is going out with other girls. But because he's a bit available to her, he's a bit emotionally supportive, he's a bit understanding to her situation, he can lean on that boy, so he continues into this relationship. And in exchange for the emotional security that he's getting, the boy demands sex. So here is your teenager exchanging emotional support for a physical relationship that she's not ready for, and she doesn't even like the experience of the sexual encounters that she's having with the boy, and then comes in now with a possible sexually transmitted illness because no one has really explained to her about protection. And for her, she's very desperate to be loved. She's very desperate to feel wanted. She's very desperate to be, in a situation where people are not fighting. So she goes in, and the boy maybe says, I don't want us to use protection. So here you are as a parent, inadvertently forcing your child to go out to seek emotional support. And I think it's very unfair for the teenager. So for parents, you want to teach your child how to have conflict maybe, and you want to teach them as well how to resolve conflict in marital relationships. Because remember, in a few years, by the age of 20, 22, adults start getting into serious romantic relationships. Some of them fail, some of them, last for a longer period of time. And they're in university or they're in college or whatever it is. So you want to prepare them for that. And your girl is going to be looking at how you treat your mom, yeah? And your mom is going to look at how she responds to the father's abuse, or to the mother to the father's abuse. And that sets precedence in them, such that they go seek out partners who look like their dad. So if it's abuse, they're going to, subconsciously seek for that particular partner. And the love for them is how they've seen their dad, express their like I said, morning they go to bed, having argued, they wake up in the morning, they say hello to each other, but there's no emotional exchange going on. It's just very mechanical, very lacking of emotion. And so they go in and seek partners who would have the same relationship with them, because that's what has been familiarized to them. So as parents, you want to create an environment that educates and empowers your daughter or your son with skills that they can use when they go out. So when you're having the fights and they happen to be witnessing you having that fight, try and make it something that they can learn from. Yeah, and when you're resolving the fight, let them witness that so that they can know how to go about, reconciling after having an argument. And avoid putting your teenager in between your fights. Let them, in fact, assure them, sit them down and tell them, when we're fighting about your dad, it has nothing to do with you. And maybe now that it has nothing to do with them, when you're having that fight, try as much as possible, particularly if you've not prepared for it, let them not witness you having that, push and pull against each other, so that at least they can have less to deal with in this difficult situation that they're trying to navigate. And maybe we can have, in a way, we can reduce HIV rates among teenagers, because this is exactly one of the reasons why young teenagers are contracting HIV at a very early age. It's because some of them are literally exchanging their bodies. They're literally exchanging their sexual experiences for an emotional security, for a psychological comfort, for a sense of belonging, for a sense of being wanted, for a sense of being loved, something that they should be able to get from their houses. And also teach them about protection. But again, that's a discussion for a different day. But for now, try as much as you can as a parent. Whatever conflicts are going on in your marriage, let them not get in the way of the development of your child. Let them not destroy the innocence that is still there in your daughter's life. So